Until now, Senegal has been importing crude oil from other countries and refining it to meet local demands. Its refineries could only refine imported crude oil because different crude oil needs different refining techniques. In addition to this, Senegal had to import even refined oil to be used directly for local demands. However, in all that, there was no place for Senegal's own crude oil. Yes, despite sitting on vast oil reserves, Senegal never thought of using its own oil. Or perhaps it was never allowed to. But now, Senegal's new president has fulfilled his pledge, launching a new refinery capable of refining crude oil extracted in Senegal. This means, from now on, Senegal will mine crude oil, refine it, use it, and export the surplus. But how is this being done, and how is this a historic move that can change Senegal's fate? In this video, let's know about the whole new story. Senegal's recent decision to refine its own oil marks a dramatic shift from a long-standing pattern of economic dependence that has plagued African nations for decades. The country, despite having significant crude oil reserves, had historically been trapped in an exploitative cycle where raw resources were exported, while expensive finished products were imported. In the case of oil, Senegal exported crude oil at a cheap price, after which those countries refined it and then sold it back to Senegal. This was exploitation at its peak. This paradox left Senegal vulnerable to global oil price fluctuations and dependent on foreign refineries to meet local energy demands. Further, in some cases, Senegal had to import crude from other nations to refine it. And worse, even imported refined petroleum products like diesel, gasoline, and kerosene. The core problem was that Senegal's existing refinery infrastructure was not designed to process all types of crude oil, effectively locking the country out of the full economic benefits of its own natural wealth. And yes, this was intentional. For decades, Senegal's oil industry operated in a way that prioritized foreign interests over domestic development. The crude oil extracted from Senegalese fields was immediately exported, benefiting international oil corporations and foreign economies, while Senegal remained dependent on refined petroleum imports. This system persisted due to a combination of political decisions, external economic pressures, and possibly deliberate efforts by foreign powers to prevent Senegal from gaining full control over its energy resources. Whether through economic deals that discouraged investment in local refineries or political influence that kept Senegal tied to foreign energy markets, the result was the same. Senegal's oil wealth did not serve its own people. However, under the leadership of its newly elected president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, Senegal has made a groundbreaking decision to reverse this trajectory. The country has finally launched a refinery capable of processing domestically extracted crude oil, marking a historic shift in its approach to resource management. This move is monumental, not just for Senegal, but for the entire African continent. Historically, Africa's role in the global oil industry has been largely extractive. Nations export crude oil at low prices, while importing refined petroleum products at a premium, a process that drains national wealth and reinforces dependency on foreign markets. Senegal's new approach directly challenges this exploitative model by proving that African nations can refine their own crude oil and retain the economic benefits. The launch of its domestic refinery positions Senegal not just as a producer of raw materials, but as an emerging player in the refined oil market. This shift will have significant long-term economic consequences, both for Senegal and for other African nations looking for a model of energy self-sufficiency. Interestingly, the transformation of Senegal's oil industry began with the discovery of major offshore oil and gas reserves in the Sangomar and Grand Tortue Ahmeyim fields. While these discoveries were initially seen as a potential economic boost, there was widespread concern that Senegal would follow the common pattern of other African oil-producing nations, where crude oil is exported while refined petroleum products are imported at high costs. However, under new leadership, Senegal has defied these expectations. Instead of shipping out crude oil and then paying inflated prices to import gasoline, diesel, and other refined products, the country has invested in building its own refining capacity. The new refinery, which began operations in early 2025, is a major step toward economic sovereignty and energy independence. And the impacts of this decision are numerous. Firstly, refining oil domestically significantly reduces Senegal's reliance on foreign imports, which previously left the country at the mercy of global oil price fluctuations and external supply chain disruptions. Before this move, any instability in global markets, whether due to geopolitical conflicts, trade restrictions, or supply shortages, could result in fuel crises in Senegal. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. Now, with the ability to process its own crude, Senegal is far better insulated from these risks. This newfound stability will allow businesses, industries, and households to access fuel more reliably and at controlled prices. Secondly, refining oil locally adds tremendous value to Senegal's natural resources. Crude oil, when sold as a raw material, fetches far lower prices than refined petroleum products. By processing oil within its own borders, Senegal captures more of the value chain, increasing its earnings and retaining wealth within the country. Not only that, but refining oil also allows Senegal to export it, and interestingly, it is already exporting oil to the EU, with Netherlands and Germany as main buyers. Now the additional revenues generated from refined oil sales can be reinvested into national development projects such as building infrastructure, improving healthcare, and expanding education. In contrast, when oil is refined abroad, much of this economic benefit is lost to foreign refineries and their home economies. Another major benefit of local refining is the creation of thousands of new jobs. The refinery is not just an isolated industrial facility. It is part of a larger network of economic activity. Jobs have been created in construction, engineering, operations, and maintenance, while secondary industries such as logistics, transportation, and equipment manufacturing are also benefiting. The presence of a fully operational refinery means that more Senegalese workers are being trained in high-skill professions, creating long-term career opportunities that contribute to economic diversification. Beyond direct employment, the development of a local refining industry has the potential to attract foreign investment into related sectors, including petrochemicals and lubricant production. When comparing Senegal's approach to that of other African oil-producing nations, it becomes clear why this move is a game-changer. Nigeria, Africa's largest oil producer, should, in theory, be a self-sufficient energy giant. However, due to mismanagement and failure to maintain its refineries, Nigeria imports over 90% of its refined petroleum products, despite extracting over 1 million barrels of crude oil per day. This dependence has caused recurring fuel shortages, skyrocketing energy costs, and massive financial losses, draining billions of dollars annually in foreign exchange. Now, Senegal is actively avoiding these pitfalls by ensuring that its refining capacity is both efficient and well-managed, securing energy self-sufficiency from the outset. Similarly, Angola, another major oil producer, has long relied on imported fuel despite its vast crude reserves. This dependence on external refineries has left Angola vulnerable to global oil price shocks and prevented the country from fully benefiting from its oil wealth. If Angola had developed a local refining industry earlier, it could have strengthened its economy and reduced the financial strain of energy imports. Senegal's decision to refine its own oil offers a blueprint for other African nations, proving that local refining is not just feasible, but economically transformative. Beyond economic benefits, Senegal's move is a powerful statement of national sovereignty. One of the greatest challenges facing African nations has been external control over their resources. For decades, multinational oil companies and foreign governments dictated how Africa's oil was extracted, processed, and sold. This neo-colonial economic structure left African countries with little say over their own resources, forcing them into unfair deals where they received minimal profits while foreign entities reaped the bulk of the benefits. By refining its own oil, Senegal is breaking free from these external controls and asserting its right to manage its own energy policies. No longer will foreign companies have the upper hand in determining how much oil is refined and at what price. Additionally, the success of Senegal's refinery strengthens its position as a regional energy hub. With domestic refining capabilities, Senegal can now supply neighboring West African countries with refined petroleum products, reducing their reliance on imports from Europe and the Middle East. This will not only enhance Senegal's economic power, but also promote regional cooperation and economic integration within West Africa. However, Senegal's success also comes with responsibilities. One of the key challenges will be ensuring that the revenues generated from oil refining are used for national development rather than lost to corruption. Across Africa, many oil-rich nations have suffered from mismanagement and elite capture of oil wealth, where revenues benefit only a small ruling class while the broader population sees little improvement in living conditions. Senegal must implement transparent policies and strong regulatory frameworks to ensure that oil revenues fund public infrastructure, education, and healthcare. What do you think? Can Senegal, being an oil-producing country now, change its fate using oil wealth? Isn't it true that all African oil-producing countries can change their destiny as Saudi Arabia did when it was only a desert? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on whether African leaders should make it their priority to use their country's resources to bring prosperity and development. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.